Yo, 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 this is Talking with Taco. I'm joined here with my co-hosts Eli and Orta. And you're in for a treat today. We're joining with a special guest, Orta. Would you like to introduce him?
Yep. Hope everyone's doing good. To all those listeners, thank you for tuning in to all those podcasts. Love you guys. Keep it going. So today we got a special treat. We got our strength and conditioning coach, Coach Brent Rolling today. Eli, do you want to start us off?
Coach Brent Rolling played 4 years of football at the University of Nevada and is a CLU strength and conditioning coach. He oversees a bunch of different teams, but he also does football, so we're around Coach Brent a lot. He also has a degree in nutrition, master's degree in nutrition.
2 degrees, yeah.
What are your degrees, Coach?
Bachelor's and master's in nutrition.
Nice. How was that?
How was that?
Yeah.
It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, especially doing my undergrad while playing football, and then when I was doing my master's, I was the head TA for my nutrition program. I was working part-time, so yeah, it was kind of a grind, but definitely worth it in the end.
How is Nevada as an experience overall?
I love Nevada. I love Reno in general. I could see myself moving back there when I get older, one day maybe when I retire. So, especially if the cost of living doesn't go up, it's a lot cheaper than, I'm sure it can hear me. It's a lot cheaper than down here, so maybe one day move back there. It's really close to Lake Tahoe. There's a lot to do up there, so.
Coach,
Okay.
how was the recruiting process for because I heard, if I'm not mistaken, you said that you didn't start playing football till your senior year of high school?
Yeah, so my football trajectory was very, very uncommon. So basically I was that kid in high school that was big and I didn't really have the time or money to play football. And then my senior year, the quarterback was coming up to me every day in class and saying, hey, you should play football. And I was taking a body composition class that was run by one of the football coaches, and then he would talk to me after class. So finally tried out, finally played football. Didn't start. I just played basically garbage minutes, but we had a lot of garbage minutes because our team was really good. So there was some amount of film on me. Obviously didn't get any offers for playing spot minutes, just 1 year of football.
Yeah.
But local junior college called me up and said, hey, you're a big body. We want to see if you can come out and play for us. Came out my first year there. I was the second string left tackle. We had a 10-game season. The first 6 games were started by my friend Gage, who ended up going to Marshall, but he broke his leg in the 7th game. So then I took over for the rest of the season. I was in off-season training with MSJC, which is the junior college I went to, Mount San Jacinto, in the spring, almost the start of summer. And then there were other teams coming out and looking at other players that also talked to me, like USC and Iowa, but they wanted one more year of film. And then Nevada came out and basically said, we want you to come up as a preferred walk-on right now. So I ended up doing that. So moved up there in the middle of summer, and the rest is history.
Wow. That's sweet. So how was your transition from going to high school into junior college? Obviously no experience that much in football, and then you also have to gain this mass for JUCO. How was that experience?
It was good. My strength coach, Coach Ramsey, he was also the DB's coach at Mount San Jacinto. He was kind of a nut, but we all loved him.
Yeah.
He just had some crazy methods in terms of strength and conditioning. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Mount San Jacinto or Hemet, California, but it gets to be 110, 115 degrees out there. And so we do a lot of our conditioning outside, and he had this thing called the abdominal 2000 we do once every couple of weeks, where we literally just did 2,000 reps of random abs in the sun. Yeah. And by the end, our form was terrible. No one was actually getting really anything out of it except for pain, but it was quite the experience. So he was a big part. He did really well for the position that he was in, and he was a big part of why I was able to put on some size. I went from 255 to 280 in that first year.
Wow, jeez.
And then when I moved up to Reno, I went from 280 to 300 in the next year. So.
Wow. How tall were you measuring at that time?
I graduated high school at 6'5", and then I basically was 6'6" the rest of my career.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How was the transition from JC to Nevada?
FBS
to D1?
It was a little bit smoother than I expected. I think the biggest thing was I was a good student. Mm-hmm. So the reason I was able to transfer after 1 year is because I was an NCAA qualifier. So my SAT score and my GPA combined, there's a formula they use that you don't have to get your associates before you transfer if you have the combination of those scores. So I think academic-wise, especially when I was doing general ed, it wasn't that big of a deal. The schedule was obviously a lot more intense, going from commuting to and from campus for everything to being on or near campus all day, every day was a little different, but I was just really soaking in. I really enjoyed the experience.
Because you told me a story a couple of days ago. We were stretching about when you were late to a meeting and what you had to do because you were late to the meeting. Can you share your story of when you were late to a meeting? The one meeting you were late to?
So I actually mixed up my stories. So the punishment I told you, and I'll explain it again. The punishment I told you was for study hall hours when I did the hours, but I forgot to clock in, and the person at the front desk wouldn't vouch for me. So that was the punishment that I told you. So the one meeting I was late for, we were going to play at San Diego State that week. I was 5 minutes late to a meeting because I was a little bit of a slob in college, and my laundry basket of clean clothes was right next to my bed. Somehow in the middle of the night, pushed my phone off the night table into the basket of clothes, didn't hear my alarm. 5 minutes late to the meeting, and then basically I was like the second string guy for every position on the line besides center at that point. And then they moved me down to third string, which meant I wouldn't have traveled. And so I had to like fight my way back to even earn the right to travel for that week. And obviously being San Diego State, like that was the closest game that we played to my family. So it was important to me that I got on that plane, but I ended up making it. So that was good. But the punishment I told you about, so like I said, I had like 4 hours left of study hall, and I walked in and like I talked to the people at the front desk every time, but I didn't put my pin in. We had pins on a number pad that we put in for study hall, and I went to clock out and I put my pin in, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have you clocked in." And I was like, "But you've seen me here for the last 4 hours." I'm like, "Sorry, I can't do anything for you."
Wow.
So this was in the spring, early spring in
Crazy.
Reno, and so there was snow on the turf, and then so basically that was Friday. I had 6 a.m. Saturday workout with our strength coach and a couple of the other guys that didn't do study hall hours or missed class or whatever. And he had pull sleds out there. And so we had 90 pounds on the sled. We had 200 yards of bear crawls in the snow, pulling the 90 pounds, 200 yards of log rolls, and then some just like made up BS agility circuit that he just wanted us to do. Like that involved like up downs, rolls. Like it was a mess. So anyway, when I was late for the meeting, and this is good advice for you guys, so you're never late, I just went to Walmart and bought the cheapest alarm clock I could find with the most obnoxious alarm, and I set it up across the room from my bed as a backup alarm 10 minutes after my first alarm. So that way, if I ever screw up and my phone dies or whatever, then that alarm goes off, and you don't have to physically get up and turn it off, and it's so obnoxious. There's no way you can sleep through it. So, yeah, those are my two stories.
Insane.
Those are my two stories of punishment at UNR. So,
Do you have any other really good stories at UNR? Like any other really cool football stories, school stories?
I have a ton of good stories. I'd say football highlights. I got to play in a few games. I didn't start, and we can talk about that more if you guys want to. But I got to play in a few games, which in front of that many fans is a lot of fun, and especially like as you guys know, when you train with your teammates year round and you actually get to see all your work pay off, it's really fun. So I would say two. I'll go really quickly over my top 4 football memories. Number 1, my sophomore year, we went and played at Florida State the year they won the national championship.
That's
So that undefeated team that had Jameis Winston, Devontae Freeman, Calvin Benjamin, Jalen Ramsey, LaMarcus Joyner, like pretty much the entire team went to the NFL.
Yeah.
So we get there and it's like 95 degrees and 80% humidity or something like that. We walk out on the field, natural grass field. There's bugs flying everywhere. Everyone's doing the oh.
That's
like
crazy.
that whole chant like the Chiefs do.
yeah.
And then we're standing there, and like we're all gassed to play, right? And then so like we run out on the field, we do the warm up, and then their mascot, which is a Native American, like in a
On a
headdress and
horse?
everything,
On the
he
horse?
rides out on the horse in the middle of the field with a flaming spear and throws the flaming spear in the middle of the field. And a couple of my teammates and I are like, "Yeah, we're probably gonna lose this game." So that was a really good one. We played at Texas A&M in their home opener in their new stadium. So 110,000 people there. That was awesome. Yeah, we actually were competitive in that game too. So that was a lot of fun. A lot of times, especially at the Division I level, you go and you play those games to make money.
Yeah.
Right. So like basically our coach would tell us, all right, we're going to go play this game and we're going to give it all we got and compete to win. But this game's going to pay for our practice field turf.
That's such a
Or like new helmets or something like that.
that'd be
So-
kind of a really sad way to go into a game.
So I mean, like you obviously want to go into every game thinking you can win, right? Because like they're just dudes too. Like they've been playing longer, they're more talented, but like they're just dudes. Like, they're not NFL players or anything, except for that Florida State team was pretty much all that. So, you go into every game thinking you can win. That's the mentality you have to have, because otherwise you've already lost, right? If, like, even half of your team goes in thinking you are probably going to lose, then everyone can tell in your body language and the way you play that that's what you're thinking, and it's going to be contagious in the wrong kind of way. So, other two experience, both bowl games. So, my junior year, we went to the New Orleans Bowl in Louisiana, played in the Superdome.
That's
really cool experience.
Sweet.
That's sick.
Really cool experience. We didn't win that game. We played the Raging Cajuns, Louisiana Lafayette, who's in the Sun Belt. They were some big dudes. Like, I think we underestimated their size. There were some big dudes out there, especially on the D line. So we had a hard time. We got down to like the 5-yard line. Our freshman tight end fumbled, and then we had a couple other missed opportunities to convert. So I think we lost that game like 16-3. So it was a low scoring game, but we just couldn't do anything on offense. And then my senior year, we went to the Arizona Bowl. So we went to another bowl game, played in Tucson, and then we ended up playing Colorado State, who's in our conference, which wasn't supposed to happen, but it ended up happening.
Yeah.
But we won that game. We got the T-shirts and rings and everything, so that was really sweet.
That's pretty sick.
That's cool.
So for all like your experiences there at University of Nevada, how was the team camaraderie? Like, because usually like what I hear from stories is like, being at the D1, it's kind of like you're playing for yourself at essentially, because everyone's trying to get to the NFL, right? They're trying to get to the next level. How was it at Nevada?
So when I first got recruited there, Coach Alt was there, who was a legendary coach in college football. Pretty much pioneered. He didn't invent, but he pioneered and like made great the pistol offense, and like he didn't take any nonsense from anybody. So I think the culture was pretty good that year, but then again, I was a freshman. I just got there, so maybe I hadn't seen everything.
Yeah.
The rest of my career, I would say it was probably like 70-30 or 80-20. Like, guys were bought in like together, and then there were guys that were like, oh, I'm kind of looking out for myself.
Yeah.
Like, but it's like that at every level. Really, the biggest difference is the financial incentive, right? So like, guys are on scholarship and like they think that they made it, so they feel like they don't have to work that hard. But
I was talking to Sutherland about, because when he played at UCLA, and I was like, is there a weird like aspect of it because you're playing at such a high level, like you're on TV, like people are on ESPN after games, and he said you kind of just get used to it, like, and I'm sure it was like similar in Nevada where it's like, oh, like he's on ESPN, or he just like, or something crazy just happened, because I feel like you kind of and they kind of just become people, because like you share a locker with them and you kind of become more human, I guess.
I think for the most part, all the really good players forget that there's cameras and forget that they're on TV.
Yeah.
Like, you'll see every once in a while one of them loses their cool and throws a punch or something. Like, you're obviously not thinking you're on TV at that point. You're out there playing the game, right? And so, like, I feel like for the most part, if you're focusing on that, you're focusing on the wrong thing because of all the preparation that you put in to play that game. If you're focusing on the fact you're on TV, you're probably not going to do really well.
Did you play with anyone that got drafted in Nevada when you were there?
Yeah, so Joel Bitonio, who's the All-Pro left guard for the Browns, he's ridiculous. He's made the Pro Bowl, like, I think he's been in the NFL 7 years and made it 5 years. Like, he just signed a fat contract.
Yeah, I think he was like some ranking system had him like top 3 offensive guard.
Yeah, he's just a freak athlete. Like, when we did ladder drills, he was like keeping up with the corners. Like,
that's crazy.
315 pounds.
That's crazy,
dude. Like, could jump, could dunk, could broad jump almost further than anybody on the team. Just a freak athlete genetically, and like super strong, super smart, really, really great guy. He actually just donated $1 million to renovate the football weight room in Nevada. So,
oh, sweet.
Yeah. So, him, and then Austin Corbett, who I played a couple years with, got drafted by the Browns, traded to the Rams, and won a Super Bowl with them as their starting left guard. So,
wow.
Sweet.
Yeah.
A couple other guys got like camp runs and free agent contracts and stuff. My good friend Kyle, he got signed by the Broncos out of college and got to play a year with Peyton Manning and win a Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
I have two friends with Super Bowl rings now.
That's pretty crazy to think about. It's pretty crazy to think about because, like, I think I saw a statistic saying like 5% of high school athletes play college at any level. Yeah. And then of that 5% that played any level, 1% of the 5% makes it to the NFL. So it's like really like the 1% of the 1%. Like, it's such a small number of people that actually get to do it. That's crazy, 2 people with Super Bowls. Yeah.
And one that, if he was on a good team, would have a Super Bowl. He should have a Super Bowl.
He might still get one.
Yeah. We'll see.
He's
see if Watson remembers how to play.
Coach, how did you become... a lot of people ask, so we got questions on Instagram, and a pretty common question we got from a lot of people was, How did you become a strength and conditioning coach, and like what path led you to have this job?
So when I was in college, like I said, I didn't play much. I played spot minutes, and I was injured my junior year. So like a lot of times my competitive elements came in practice and in the weight room. Like I was always trying to push myself in the weight room and be better in the weight room. And I just fell in love with the energy and the atmosphere in the weight room and like the competitiveness, and like especially on like PR days, like there's nothing really like it. And so like just understanding that aspect of like what goes into that to make you a better football player was something that I was really attracted to. And then I got my degrees in nutrition because I figured that I would get the practical experience of like learning how the weight room works and what to do in the weight room through being an athlete. And then I'd use my nutrition degrees to take it to the next level, because I feel like that was really the main thing that we were missing there is nutrition education. Like we had training table, which the food was all right, and then we had like smoothies and stuff, but like there wasn't a ton of education in terms of like why you should eat this and why you should eat this and why this is important, etc. So that was kind of my trajectory there. Is just like through being an athlete, I knew like I probably didn't want to coach football, but I wanted to be around sports, and I felt like that this was the best way to do it, especially for my love for the weight room. So
yeah, and I think like you're kind of coach like in a way, like you're out there with us in practice. Well, I feel like you have a cool, like when you're out there at practice with us, it's pretty fun for you because you lead stretches and warm-ups and you help guys out if they need it, if they get hurt. But you're also like watching practice a lot, and like we get to go up and like talk to you and mess with you. So I mean, like, you still get to be like around the game and like
and that's really why I like to do it. Like I like to see you guys invest that time and that effort into getting better, and then I like to see it pay off. Like that's why I do it. Like I want you guys to win. I almost brought my bull ring. I should have. But
you should have, coach.
But like, I'll bring it on part 2. We'll do a part 2.
Coach.
We got to do
foreshadowing a part 2.
Coach.
Hopefully that time we'll have a video by then.
The only reason I wanted to bring that is to kind of just like layer on to the fact, like the reason why I do what I do is to like put you guys in a position, like do my part to put you guys in a position to win, because like there's no feeling like winning, guys, and I'm sure you know this.
Yeah.
Like from the high school level and the few games we won last year, like there's no feeling like it, especially like with the amount of work that you put in to play a college sport.
Yeah.
Like it's contagious, and like the more that you get to experience it, the more it happens, because like you just build on that momentum, and it's the greatest feeling in the world. So I just like to be a part of that for you guys and be a part of that process.
Yeah, I think it's definitely nice when it pays off, because a lot of times you kind of got to remember that too. And like you're waking up at 5 to go get a workout in, and you're like, dang. But then when you win, you're like, or before you play a game, you're thinking like, dude, we woke up at 5 in the morning for all these months, and we did all this training. Like it's got to be for something. And then when it finally pays off, it's great.
Yeah, and that's what you guys do it for, is to go out and dominate and win together. That's the only reason you guys are there in the off season. That's the only reason you guys are putting the pads on Saturdays. Yeah. You know, it's not to look at yourselves in the mirror. It's to go out there and win with your brothers, and like that's the cool part about it. So.
Yeah. All right, Coach. We got a discussion we need to hash out with you and Taco.
Oh God.
So in the first episode, we were talking about what player or coach you want to be stranded on an island with and why. And I was like, well, what about Coach Brent? Coach Rowling? And Taco goes, no.
What do you have to say for yourself?
What do you okay, first of all, 2 questions. Taco, I want you to say why no? No, I think Taco said Brent's not getting off that island. I think that's like the exact. I think those are the exact words. But Coach, why are you getting off the island, and who are you picking?
I mean, really, the only reason I was kind of caught off guard is because I don't know what I've done to make you guys think that I don't have this.
Like, he said you guys. It was Taco.
Yeah, it was Taco. I brought you up saying like, oh, what about Brent? Like, that's a good idea. And Taco just shut it down.
I don't know what I've done to make Taco think that I don't have survival skills. I think is the reason why I was so caught off guard by it. But, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just a competitor. Like, you got
that dog, Coach?
I go out there and hunt. I can carry whatever needs to be carried. You know, I've watched a lot of Bear Grylls. I know how to build a structure. I know how to make a fire. Like, I just think that my survival skills were drastically underestimated by Taco. So,
Coach, who are you picking?
Who am I picking?
Wait, are you picking on the team, but also are you picking out of the 3 of us?
How, the 3 of you guys?
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to be Taco.
It's definitely going to be.
Because Taco's still going to be doing log rolls first. So he's not going to be available to be on the island. I don't know. That's tough. I don't know. See, like, here's a lesson for you guys, especially you, Taco. Like, I don't know your guys' background well enough to make an educated decision, right? So I'm not just going to fire off a random name based on appearance or, like, what little I know about you guys.
Okay, would you rather? Would you like? What do you think you? Would you like? You want to be on the island? Because you might be stuck there forever, Coach, and like you know us pretty well.
Depending on who I pick, forever might not be that long. So
That's true.
Man.
Yeah, because most people say Di Fiore. I don't. That's like probably the most common answer because they're like really determined. They know like Di Fiore's getting off that island. Like 48 hours, like he's getting off.
Di Fiore's a dog for sure.
Yeah.
What about the whole team? Is there anyone that pops in your head like I want him?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, man. I feel like Monik has really good survival.
Monik's a good one.
Yeah, I feel like Monik's got really good survival skills.
I feel like Monik would too like make you feel like it's okay. Like he'd give you a hug, be like it's gonna be alright. It's gonna be alright. Like, you know, he'd like calm like the situation.
Somebody was joking when Monik first got here, and they're like, you know, that guy was a Navy SEAL, and I like for a split second bought it. I was like, I believe it.
He looks like a Navy SEAL.
Coach, wait, here's a good question. Someone asked this, but they're like, what was your first impression of the three of us? Like each individual. Like, what was your first impression of Taco, Art, and me?
God, that's a long time ago.
Do you remember? Or do you remember like?
Did you guys get here for the summer class?
I was here.
I was
here in fall.
I was here in the summer.
fall camp. Like honestly, like my first impression of your guys' class as a whole is like you were a solid group of dudes, and I think it's what we needed. And you know, our team was relatively young as a whole last year.
Yeah.
But I feel like you guys have a really good core group that has the potential to win a lot of games.
Yeah, no, I like our group too. I think we're pretty close. Like we all hang out all the time, which makes football fun. Like that's why I love playing. And we're all friends. We all go to the beach together. We all get meals together. Like,
and that's like I said, like the bonds that you guys make right now they're gonna last a lifetime, and it's gonna help you win games.
Yeah.
And I think there was just a little bit too much separation between your guys' group and the upperclassmen last year because just like with COVID and everything and the literal age difference, I think that might have been like the biggest issue was like you guys you guys weren't able to have that summer and that time together to bond before you guys just showed up on campus, right? So you guys were just all thrown into it together, and it's tough to get everybody on the same page in that short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Coach, I remember in the summer in the beginning, and I remember the first workout I did with you. Like for whatever reason, like the first day was just like crazy. Like it was like comparison to like everything else. I remember like the first day I got here, we had like a weight room, but it was like a long like lift, like a good amount of lift, and then we ran like 10 106s. Yeah. And I remember I was like on my hands and knees by the end of it, like dying.
I was trying to see where you guys were at.
That was horrible, Coach.
Yeah, that was horrible.
A lot of guys were puking after that.
No.
My goal.
The one at the beginning of fall wasn't that bad because I did the whole summer, but the one at the beginning is when I first got here in the summer. That one was even worse. Yeah. Because we ran it with like a slower tempo.
Right.
Or not like a slower tempo, but like. It was like the timing was more, there's less people, so it was more like individualized.
More, yeah.
Like if you weren't making your time, like it was like obvious you were making your time.
Right. You couldn't just hide in the back.
Yeah, you couldn't just like hide in the back.
Yeah, I remember coming down for that fall camp when we did 106. I thought I was like in good shape, and I was like, oh my God, I was like, I'm dying right now.
Yeah, 106s aren't my favorite conditioning measure, but they definitely do the job.
Could we not do it more,
the
Coach?
whole reason we do stuff like that, like I'm not sadistic. I don't like seeing you guys suffer, but like it's a good measure of if you guys are in any sort of decent shape, and then we can kind of get the baseline and see what we need to improve on. Because I don't want to spend all my time conditioning, and the conditioning that I do want to do is more like speed, agility, that kind of
so much
plyometric. That's the kind of conditioning I want to do. But if you guys are in bad shape, I've got to devote some time to that. So
I show up to camp like 240.
So one question, like overall, how's your experience been at Cal? Like,
it's been really good. So you guys know, I came from University of Puget Sound, and I really liked it there, but I wasn't really able to do a ton with nutrition there because just the funding wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So coming down here, the support to start the snack program and everything, and like coaches asking me like what we should buy for snacks on the road and like how we should structure meals, and being able to interact with the chefs at Ullman to like alter the menus at fall camp is huge.
Yeah.
And so like things like that, that's kind of why I got my degrees in nutrition, because like as important as the strength and conditioning work is and how much it's going to pay off, like it's just going to break you down if you don't eat and sleep to recover. And that's why I get on order every day when I see 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I'm
Coach,
like,
Coach, out of the best of us, who is the best Oh, like how do we gotta explain a survey? Because every morning we have to fill out a survey before practice, and we have to report how much sleep we got, our quality of sleep, our mood, our energy level, lower body soreness, upper body soreness, and we kind of have an overall 1 to 10 of how everything is feeling and how we're doing. Who has like the best survey numbers out of the three of us? Like who consistently is like the worst and best?
Orta's, I think, the worst.
Flat out. Okay.
I think Orta's averaged about 4.5 hours of sleep.
That's
without spring ball.
Oh my god.
It's okay. I still bring the energy to practice.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty close between you two, and it's just based on like how you feel on that given day. Like
My lower body soreness is always so
yeah,
low.
yeah, the lower body soreness is low, but you guys spend a lot of time in the training room too. I would say probably out of the three of you, Taco has the best overall averages.
Yeah.
And Taco spends 2 hours a day in the training room. So
He does.
it's weird how
Dude,
that works.
I took an ice.
It's weird how it works. You know, when you take care of your body, you feel a little better. You know, it's weird.
Coach, you know, I haven't missed a survey since fall.
I've never missed a
First
survey.
week of camp, I missed one survey.
Did you make it roll or run?
I log rolls 200 yards, and I never missed a survey.
You made him do 200 yards? They only do 50, right? Oh, it's because it's spring.
It's spring, yeah.
I've never missed another
The
survey.
standard changes.
Okay,
I'm gonna make up some fun new stuff for fall camp for this year.
Coach, yeah, I kind of like seeing
Everybody
people.
do your surveys. If you're listening to this, do your surveys. Even if you don't
One
get scored.
one of the
Find
questions.
a survey.
One of
find
the
out.
survey.
One of the
do it.
questions we got, Coach, is why do you want surveys from us at 5 a.m.?
Because we need to understand your guys' level of readiness. Like that's like I explain this to you guys, and I feel like you don't understand it sometimes. But the reason I have you guys do the surveys is to see how individuals in the team are, like, their level of readiness on that day for physical activity, whether it's practice or lift. And then I use that information over time to make decisions on how I structure my programming and my education that I put out. So like I'll take information from the readiness surveys for spring ball and use it to make decisions for the fall.
That's nice.
Okay.
So like that's what I use it for, and that's why it's important to me that you guys do it. Because if enough of you don't do it, then I don't get reliable averages for the team. Like in order for data to be reliable, I don't know if any of you have ever taken a stats class. Like you guys are essentially a study group, right? And so like if enough of you don't do it, it makes the data unreliable because it doesn't represent the whole group. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm so insistent that you guys do it, because like I said, it's a big part of what I do. Instead of just putting a program in Team Builder and just making you guys run just for the sake of it, like I want to make sure I'm making informed decisions. So that's why I have you guys do it at 5 a.m. So I can get a brief idea of how people are feeling on the day if I need to check in with anybody. And then, like I said, I collect that information over time and make sure that I use it.
Coach, you're pretty good at checking in too. You checked with me a couple times. Like, why is your lower body soreness like a 3? Like, Coach, I'm dying.
You check in with me every day about my sleep.
Yeah. It just it keeps getting lower and lower. I just don't know what's happening.
I get off work late, that's why. But I'm done with work now.
Still
so
working?
Isn't there like
Boy.
one where you didn't sleep or like?
Yeah, there was one night where actually me and Devin, sorry Dev, we're kind of selling each other out.
Yeah,
But,
throwing you under the bus.
yeah, but we actually didn't go to sleep one day. We were like, dude, should we just stay up? Because we have like lift or we had practice in like 2 hours, 3 hours.
Pretty sure I thought the zeros were a glitch on Team Builder that day.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm done with work. Like I was working at Chipotle, but I'm done with work. So now, like, if I don't get 8 hours, that's just like on me and stuff like that.
Coach, we'll get 8 hours.
Yeah, we'll get.
Are
8
you
hours.
going back to work at Chipotle or are you done?
No, I'm probably done.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that girl work was not it for me. I mean, it was cool because like I'm making food and stuff like that. And it's kind of cool, like just seeing people like be happy, like that you're making food for them and stuff like that.
It's also a cheat code though, like
Yeah, bro.
like how you like
can eat
bowl-
there,
yeah,
like discount or free
exactly.
Chipotle.
Coach, this
like-
is gonna blow up, and this is gonna be his job. Like, this is the plan. That's the plan, Coach.
No, yeah, but it was sweet though. Working there just to get the food and stuff like that. I just go in the back once they're like, "Oh, go on break," make my own bowl. Like
That's what I'm
anything I
saying.
want,
You'd
yeah.
have a hard time finding better like workout
Nutrition,
recovery
yeah.
food.
Exactly.
Than working in a fast food setting. Like you'd have a hard time finding something better than like chicken or steak, beans, rice,
Yeah,
guacamole.
exactly.
Like
Yeah, there was nothing better than that.
Coach, I got a good question. What's your favorite memory? Like, or what's one of your favorite memories of like us individually? Like, do you have any memories that stand out of me, Taco Orta?
you guys asking the deep questions.
Not like deep, but like do you have any like funny memories or just like doing anything stupid or?
At least for
I
the
don't know.
part 2, we might be ready.
I might have a better answer for part 2, but like I really enjoyed the Sunday lifts last year as much as I know you guys didn't. But like getting to like watch and talk football and kind of talk smack
Yeah,
on
that
each
was
other's
fun.
teams, like that, and I did that on purpose so you guys would take a little bit longer rest and kind of get a little more sense of enjoyment out of it, and it's not just, you know, taking care of business like everything else is. You know, it's productive, but you guys can be a little more loose.
You got mad at me one time, like kind of mad at me because I was like watching football for like 10 minutes. You have to go lift.
Yeah, that better be the best set of your life.
Yeah.
10-minute rest break, but
Coach, I went crazy.
went crazy. Your brother's a Lions fan, right?
Yeah, my little brother.
Yeah.
One of my
Shout out
friends.
Eli's brother.
Yeah, one of my little brother. Dude, he listens, bro. He's gonna be hyped. Coach, he's a freak, dude. Like my little brother he's 14. He'll be a freshman in high school next year. He's probably like, we have a little flag football league that I coach in the middle school back home. He's not on my team. I had him on my team last year, but now he's on my older brother's team. So like we like switched so you can have him. And dude, we put my two best guys on him and he scored 3 touchdowns. He's a little like rock. He's like almost my height and he's like super shredded. Like this is kind of embarrassing for him and I don't think he's really gonna care. But like one time I I was on his phone and I was looking at his pictures and there's just pictures of like him in the mirror flexing and I was like
You just put your brother up.
I was like, dude, no,
You might want to edit that one out.
coach, he was like shredded. I was like, Brody, and he was like 13. We did it. He used to wake up at 5 in the morning. He still does. We know he wake up at 4:30 in the morning every single day by himself to work out.
He probably wakes up and watches like the Lions Hard Knocks.
Yeah, he just goes crazy.
Fired up from
Dan Campbell,
MCDC
Dude,
firing off.
No, he's like he's a super dedicated kid. Coach, we need to get him one day. One day you might see him in the weight room.
He
Coach.
needs to be a guest on your podcast.
He will be a
He
guest
does
on our
need to be a guest on
podcast.
the
Yeah, Coach, you need to talk to him one day because he's hyped that you're a Lions fan. He was really excited to hear
There's
about
there's not a lot of us out there, so you gotta stay
that. Coach, you gotta
true.
stay strong.
Although everyone's gonna be hopping on the bandwagon this year for sure.
You think that's
Yeah,
true,
that's
Coach?
probably
For the
true.
Lions?
The Lions.
It sucks that you guys lost Jamal Williams, though.
It's only for 6 games. They didn't have him for like
No,
14 games last year.
no, he
Jamal
was-
Williams.
yeah.
Jamal.
James.
You said, man, Jameson.
Yeah, I was thinking of Jameson. Yeah, Jamal Williams.
Wait, did he pop for Pete? Oh no, he got gambling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you can be that level of dumb to gamble in a team facility. But anyway,
Coach, what did you do if I handed you what was it, Coach? Want to bet in the game right now?
I'm walking you straight to HR.
No, coach is taking
I'm
that
not
back.
losing my job.
I think after that, that was probably like the last question. It was a pleasure to have you on this podcast. Can't wait for the part
Coach,
two.
we gotta get a part 2 because we got some more
This
questions.
is
Yeah,
100%.
we got a lot more questions waiting, but
Can I ask you one question I didn't get to ask you? I want to ask you.
What time are we at?
We're at 32 minutes.
Okay.
But Dylan Doyle asked, "Why is the world's greatest stretch the world's greatest stretch?"
Why would it not be the world's greatest? stretch?
I told him I'd ask you, so I had to ask him.
Yeah, but that's my response is why would it not be the world's
Okay.
greatest stretch? Can you think of a better one off the top of your head? That's my response.
Taco, that's all you, man.
Probably not.
Taco likes inchworms, I know that.
Oh,
Coach,
Coach,
that's evil, dude.
that's evil.
It's crazy.
Inchworms and world's greatest stretch are up there for 2 of the world's greatest stretches.
Coach.
They're just full body. Like it. What's cool about those stretches is they're working on activation in some areas and limbs and mobility in others. So it's really productive. And like most of the stuff I put in the warm up, I try to put in there with a similar purpose of like mobilizing one area, activating another area. So like, but those 2 stretches are 2 of my favorites in terms of like actually getting your body prepared to do something. And you guys don't like them because they're hard and they challenge you a little bit. And that's.
I mean, I'm not
that's
complaining.
The purpose.
but-
I'm complaining.
That's
No.
the purpose though, right? Like
Inchworms are better than pogos, though.
you like pogos?
Hate
Coach,
pogos.
nobody
Why?
likes pogo.
Why?
I don't know. Like, nobody likes them.
For me, it's my ankle.
Yeah, I think everybody.
My
has
ankle,
bad
my
ankles.
ankle, my ankle doesn't like the pogo jumps.
Yeah. Well, the fact that your ankle hasn't rolled yet, you can probably.
Yeah, it's like I can be grateful. I mean, they work good for me. Like it's a good exercise for me because it strengthens my ankle. Where's we at?
I'll explain the pogo jumps for everybody, all the haters that are listening. So they are an extensive plyo. So like basically they're lower intensity, so you can do them every day if you want to. But if you do them over time, the repetitions build up.
day.
The repetition, it's like jump roping, right? So like the repetitions build up and it works on your ankle stability, like your Achilles tendon stiffness and your ability to react off the ground quickly, which are all important qualities for football players. So especially like when we're warming up for practice and games, like you're going to be doing however many yards of running, however many like touches of change of direction. Like I want your guys' bodies to be prepared.
Yeah,
I see some of you guys kind of like,
Taco.
no, I just see some of you guys kind of going through the motions on some of them. Like high knees are a big one, pogo jumps are a big one, but like my challenge to the people that don't do the warm-up drills properly would be to come and talk to me and ask me why I put them in there, and then I'll explain them, and then hopefully they'll see some value in them instead of just kind of.
I always hear you yelling at the linemen when we're warming up. Like, Biggs, pick it up. Biggs, pick it up.
I don't think the bigs know what a 3-step burst is. It's like a 3-step, like,
we take like
fast
3
walk.
steps.
Taco.
Yeah, Taco's like, I will take 3 steps.
Taco. One time we had to run from like the 50 to like the end zone, to get in lines for warm ups. I was like next to Taco, and you just hear him like complaining the whole time. He's like, "Coach, why do you have to run this far, Coach? This is crazy." It's like 50 yards of like a jog.
Everything, like, I can't speak for the jog to the warm up lines, but like everything in the warm up is.
It's a good warm up.
It's meant, and it's shorter than the one we're gonna do in the fall. If you guys remember from last fall, the fall one's longer.
one's a lot longer.
Fall one's longer because fall practices are more intense. So
it's nice to get your body awake though, especially because like there's not really like a transitional period in anything we do. Like the second we're starting, like we're full speed.
So that's the idea behind it, is to prepare you guys to do whatever you need to do after the warm up. And I'll just say, just like with the weight room and your diet and your sleep and everything else, what you put in is what you're gonna get out. So like. If you make the decision to not care about one of the drills, then just know that like over time it's probably going to come back to bite you. It may not, but it might. So if you're out there anyway, like my suggestion is to just put as much as you can into those drills and prepare your body to move the way it needs to move in practice or a game. So
all right, Coach.
That was my inner coach. Channeling my inner coach at you guys.
Coach, we got a lot more questions, so we definitely need you to get on you for a part 2.
Okay.
Hopefully that time we'll make that video by then.
Hopefully we'll have a video by then, Coach.
Yeah,
hopefully it'll be like blowing up.
Yeah. This one's getting at least like 300 views.
Coach, wait.
100%.
Coach, we need like some incentive. Like you need to like do something. Like, oh, we get to do this, or like no 106s if we get like 1,000 followers.
No, I'm not gonna make any. I'm not gonna take away from your athletic development if you get a certain number of followers. That's not the way
How about if we do like a certain amount of followers? Taco would like do like 10 106s to be
I
recorded.
won't complain for a day.
I wouldn't complain for that. That's enticing. Yeah, that's enticing. I'll think of an incentive and talk to you guys about it if you.
Coach, that'd be great. We gotta blow this up, Coach.
Yeah, blow it up.
Coach, you're the plug. The followers.
All right. Thank you to everyone that tuned into the podcast. Thank you so much, Coach Brent, for coming on to the podcast. Love having you guys out here and listening. Thank you guys so much.
Be sure to tune in for part 2 with Coach Brent. Coach Brent, thank you so much for being on.
This was Talking with Taco. Thank you guys for listening.